guys, good morning, welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well, having a good Sunday, the day after the afternoon before, really, when it comes to Manchester United's 3-2 comeback victory at Old Trafford over Nottingham Forest. Now, we were going to do a match day reloaded, but overnight there was a lot of transfer news to get into, so we're going to have a bit of a short, sharp, sweet, I always struggle to say that, short, sharp, sweet transfer news update, because we're going to be talking about Cucurella possibly coming to Manchester United on loan. I am not, I can't even swear this early into the video, but I'm not messing you around. That is a legitimate thing. We're going to talk about that. But it might not be Cucurella, it might be Reguilón from Spurs instead. So we'll be chatting about United's search for a left-back, considering that Luke Shaw, of course, is out of action for possibly several months due to a muscle injury. Dean Henderson, he is gone. The here we go is confirmed from Fabrizio Romano as he heads to Crystal Palace in a deal worth a total of £20 million, 50 million plus 5 million in add-ons. So Henderson is out the door. We know we're going to be getting the backup goalkeeper through to replace him, but there could be money left over, and maybe this is the beginning, finally, of the pursuit for Sofian Amrabat as well. Possibly as well, the Harry Maguire to West Ham move might not be dead, because talks possibly, according to some sources, have maybe opened up once more. So we'll chat about that. And Donny van de Beek, the exit talks continue when it comes to him and his future, looking elsewhere from Manchester United. So let's start off first with the left-back situation here, because of course we know United actually don't have a natural left-back available for selection at the moment. We know Luke Shaw, he suffered the injury this week. It was hoped that he would be out of action for weeks rather than months. Then it was reported that the injury actually looks worse than first thought. So because of that, he could be out of action, some are suggesting possibly until November. And if indeed that is the case, we know Terrell Malacia as well. Malacia, he's not going to be available for a while too. He hasn't participated in any matches in pre-season. He, I believe, has a knee injury that's a hangover from last season. At the weekend, yesterday, Diogo Dalot was selected at left back, but he's a right back playing at left back, and apart from that, we've got Alvaro Fernandez, and that's about it. So United are in the market for a left back, and certainly an option, an emergency option, and that option could be Marc Cucurella. Now, Fabrizio Romano reported last night, he said, quote, exclusive, Manchester United made contact with Chelsea to ask about conditions of Marc Cucurella deal on potential loan. No bid or concrete talks as of right now. Now, as I mentioned, United are in the market for a left-back, considering everything that happened with Shaw and Terrell Malacia. Romano continues by saying, United are looking for a left-back opportunity, but not too expensive. There are 3 candidates on the list. No decision has been made yet. Now, it did make me laugh when he said, not too expensive. If you just cast your mind back to 12 months ago, a year ago, Marc Cucurella joined Chelsea in a deal worth an initial £56 million with possible £7 million in add-ons. We were looking at a deal there that was £63 million. Now, as far as his salary, let's actually check this out. Marc Cucurella's salary, because you would think Manchester United would have to be looking at this. According to, again, things that you see online and things of that nature, Marc Cucurella is on £175,000 a week, right? Let's take out the performance side of it for a second. We'll get to the performance side. But reportedly, he's on £175,000 a week. He's on a 6-year contract as well. So I would love to know how United and Chelsea would potentially work that out. Are United going to cover all of his wages all season for a left-back option that, are we saying when Luke Shaw's back and Terrell Malacia's back, is Marc Cucurella even going to play? Just the financials of it, you wonder how on earth is that going to work? In addition to that, look, it was interesting to see the people going back and forth on social media about this. My initial reaction when I heard this last night of Man United exploring a Marc Cucurella deal, it was like the Michael Scott thing in The Office when he starts screaming no, no, no over and over and over and over again. I know that in his season at Brighton, Marc Cucurella was very good. He won their Player of the Year, I believe, when he was at Getafe. He was very good. He came through Barcelona as well. So people are saying, oh, last year was just a bad year. But I watched him play quite a few times last year, and I thought he was absolutely shocking. I mean, absolutely awful. I've got a couple of friends of mine that are Chelsea fans, and I would message them regularly going, what on earth have you done in signing Marc Cucurella? He is abysmal. I mean, just absolutely defensively, his positioning all over the shop. Even I think the things that he was probably best known for, which was his ability on the ball, had absolutely vanished him last year. Now, one bad season does not make a bad player. That is true. But, you know, are there no better options? And also as well, not only are there not better options just from a technical point of view, but also as well financially, unless we got a deal where we absolutely rinsed Chelsea and they said, we're covering half his wages or a third of his wages or something like that. There's no loan fee. I'd be like, oh, I'll tell you what, we've done really well there. But, well, I can't ignore my initial reaction to this, which was just, no. Please, no. But some people are saying, look, Owen, it's just a loan. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But he can be an option. And, you know, I'd rather him play at left back than Diogo Dalot at left back. And, you know, and have Dalot as the option on the right-hand side. The question I put to you is, what do you think? Marc Cucurella on loan, is this something you'd be open to? Was your reaction similar to mine when you went, absolutely not, no way? What are your thoughts of it? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below, because, man, I did not see that one coming, and I cannot say that I would like to see that at all. But some people have been saying, look, it's a loan, and we need players. Let me know your thoughts about it. Now, if it's not going to be Cucurella, it might be Sergio Reguilón, because Lyle Thomas from Sky Sports is also reporting that Manchester United have looked at Sergio Reguilón as an option for left-back, among others. He can leave Spurs before the deadline. And this is quite funny, actually, because I recall when he was going to Spurs, and when was this? Was this Jose's last season? Oh no, this was This was Ollie period, I believe it was. When did Sergio Reguilón go to Spurs? Let's actually double check this. Sergio Reguilón, because my point being is that I remember we were heavily linked with him at the time. He was at I believe was it Real Madrid? He was at. It was 2020. There you go, 2020. It was during the Ollie times, and we were heavily linked with him, weren't we? And for the longest time, it looked like we were going to get him. And then, if I recall correctly, it was a situation whereby United's refusal to do a buyback clause really caused everything to collapse, and Spurs' willingness to do a buyback clause is what basically made this deal happen. And obviously, they've never done the buyback clause. It hasn't really worked out or anything like that. As I mentioned, his buyback clause was £27.5 million, and that seemingly was the reason why that seemingly was the reason why they got that one over the line. Again, as far as like his wages and stuff like that, let's have a look at Sergio Reguilón's wages, because I would assume it's significantly less. He's got an annual average salary of £2.5 million. What's that per week? It's always, whenever you're looking for all of this, all of these players, they always do it annually, and then you have to try and find it weekly. It's always a giant pain. So he's on like under 50k. He's on like 48 grand a week, according to reports online, which to me would make more sense from a loan deal, in that, okay, let's just get a player through the door in a you know, we don't know when Malash is going to be back, but sure, he'll be back in sort of November, and then the rest of the money we have, we put on a midfielder, possibly two. Hey, can we even talk about a striker or anything like that? That's the kind of business I would rather be doing. Again, that Cucurella one worries me a lot. But what do you think? What do you think? Do you think United should go for Cucurella? Should they go for Reguilón? Should they not go for anyone? Should they go for someone else, or just focus on the midfielders? Let me know your thoughts about that, because let's be honest, either option is not great. It's not. But some might say, oh, and who are you to turn up your nose up at certain players? So there you go. Dean Henderson, his move to Crystal Palace has been confirmed, well, at least near enough confirmed, by Fabrizio Romano. Yes, a lot of reports came out yesterday regarding Henderson, and he was on the bench for Manchester United. But they were saying, you know, despite him being on the bench, a deal has been agreed with Crystal Palace. After the game, he's going to go and have his medical today. His medical is booked for today. So we were waiting for that. There was a bit of confusion initially as to was this a loan move? Was this a permanent transfer? What was the situation with Dean Henderson? Well, we found out quite quickly that it was a permanent deal, so he is going, and also it's for a pretty good amount of money, I think, because Fabrizio Romano has tweeted Dean Henderson to Crystal Palace. Here we go. An agreement is in place and a medical is to be completed today. It's a permanent move from Manchester United. United to receive a £20 million package, add-ons included. A salon clause will also be part of the deal. Now, by all accounts, the sort of split is £15 million as an initial fee, £5 million in add-ons, and also a salon clause too. And you know what? I'll take it. That's 15 to 20 million pound of pure profit from an FFP point of view. We know that we're going to be getting the goalkeeper from Fenerbahce, Bayendir, reportedly for what, 6 million euros. So there's money to spend now. There is absolute money to spend. There's an argument to be made that the sale of Kovar to Bayer Leverkusen, which was for what, 7 million pounds, that's covered by Bayendir. That money's gone to him. So realistically, the way I view it, and I'm not a financial expert, is we must have 15 to 20 million pounds. We don't actually have the full 20 yet, but we've got at least 15 to spend. That's, with the other sales, surely that's enough to at least put in an offer for Amrabat and start negotiating. Put the bid in. Amrabat's still basically on strike. He's not training with the squad. He wasn't called up to the Fiorentina squad. Romano said it 10 million times. He wants United. He's waiting for United. That's the move that he wants. We've got some money. We've got some money now. There's no talk of like, oh, well, FFP. If we sell Dean Henderson and we bring in Bayendir, which we will, but we get to the end of the window and we haven't signed, Amrabat, or at least some kind of midfielder, then Manchester United are a disgrace and a cheat because the money is there to do it. And if we blow a big chunk of it on getting Mark Cucurella on loan and covering his £175,000 a week wages, then I will be furious. I will be absolutely furious because that is, I think, short-termism. Long-term, for the remainder of the season, get a midfielder in. Now, don't get me wrong. If you can do both, you can get a left back in on loan and you can get a midfielder and possibly another midfielder. Oh, Murto Magnus, right? But I can't see that happening. But I'm happy with that amount of money. I'm happy with that fee. I'm glad that it didn't result in just a loan or anything like that. I think Man United figured out very quickly, given the start to the season and all that kind of stuff. They went, no, we need to sell him. We need money. We need cash now. So I'm happy with this one. And now it's just a case of putting the money back into the right players. Harry Maguire is another one that could be on his way out, even though the West Ham deal seemingly collapsed. Maybe, just maybe, it's back on because it's being reported by Alan Nixon, which is quite interesting because he was one of the first people to really talk about the bids that went in for Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay from West Ham initially. He has said that West Ham have reopened talks with Manchester United again for Harry Maguire, but they are well short of doing a deal. The Hammers are trying to find a way to pay a little more to help United pay off the England centre-back. Now, that's quite interesting because, of course, what caused this deal to collapse in the first place? Well, seemingly, what caused the deal to collapse in the first place was Harry Maguire and Manchester United's gap in terms of compensation and payoff of his contract. David Moyes did a press conference, West Ham manager, and he said, we've had a bid agreed. We've had a fee agreed with Manchester United. Now, there is a bit of dispute from Harry Maguire's side. Oh, we never spoke to West Ham. We never spoke to David Moyes. We never agreed terms. But everyone kept saying personal terms were not an issue of West Ham. It was just a case of figuring out the payoff. And I think what they mean when it says, they're trying to find a way to help Manchester United pay off the England centre-back is what I said previously, which is signing on bonuses or loyalty bonuses, whatever it may be, bridging that gap. Because, as we said, these cases are not somewhat unique. They do happen quite often, but it's all about negotiation. It's all about finding ways to bridge that gap. So sometimes it is the buying club says to the player, hey, we know you're worth, or you're owed rather, this amount in your current contract. We'll give you this signing on bonus that bridges the gap or makes you whole. Or sometimes the selling clubs say, hey, we really need to get rid of you. We'll pay off this amount of your contract. You'll get this amount of a payment, etc. Your loyalty bonus will kind of waive that, whatever. They figure out a way. And maybe West Ham are looking at it and saying, we can probably help out, we can bridge this gap a little bit. No, West Ham started the season really, really well. I mean, you saw yesterday their performance at Brighton. Yes, Brighton had a lot of the ball and played some nice stuff, but they were ruthless, absolutely ruthless. And they've signed some good players, you know, in Kudus, Alvarez. They're going to keep Paquetá. How long he's going to be, you know, he might be facing a ban. You never know with the investigations and stuff. But they've got good players. And they're going to be in Europe this season. They're going to be in the Europa League after winning the Europa Conference League. So Maguire, as we've said, you go there, you play, you'll get your England spot. Not that he wouldn't if he stayed at United, because Gareth Southgate's going to pick him anyway. But go there, play regularly, play in Europe. Go up against a side that I think will get top half this season. I think West Ham look, again, really, really strong. And if West Ham can help bridge that gap, then maybe this deal could still be done. And it was Mike Keegan, I recalled the other day, saying, you know, keep an eye out. Keep an eye out on the Harry Maguire one. It might not be dead just yet. And maybe that's what he meant, whereby West Ham might have another go at it. And if that is the case, and if United can pull that one off, then we're starting to look at possibly not Pavard, even though they did have an agreement in principle, I believe, with Inter Milan, but I'm not sure what's really happening with that at the moment. Then it might be a Todibo. And considering Rafael Varane went off with an injury yesterday, Lindelof came in and I think did a good job, but that fourth choice centre-back that can actually play and looks confident playing, he's going to be really needed this season. So we could have a really busy last few days of the transfer window if indeed West Ham come back in. Got the money for Henderson as well. You're then possibly looking at, again, Amrabat, a left-back, maybe obviously a centre-back, and who knows? So it could be very, very busy. So keep an eye out when it comes to that one. And also, speaking of exits, Donny van der Beek, according to Fabrizio Romano, talks about Donny van der Beek's exit is still ongoing. He said that contacts are continuing to find a solution for Donny van der Beek. Negotiations are still ongoing for with Real Sociedad. Now, again, this was a bit of a strange one because it started off as a permanent deal. It then evolved into a loan deal, and now I don't really know what kind of deal they'd be looking for, whether it be a loan, obligation to buy. But the point being is, if we can get these players out of the door, you're looking at Henderson, done, Maguire, possible, Donny van der Beek, more possible. That is funds being raised. And that is enough for United to go into the market somewhat significantly, you could argue, and bring players in. And so kind of circling back to the Cucurella one or the Reguilon one, I'm not opposed to those deals if we do the more important stuff first. I just don't want to get to the end of the window and we go, well, you know, we solved that left-back issue. We got in Cucurella on loan, and we're going, yeah, but our midfield's still a mess, and we still possibly might need a bit more up front, or we need two more midfielders. If we, say Henderson's gone, if we were to sell Donny or at least get him out on loan with an obligation to buy, who knows what could happen with Maguire. If we get those ones out of the door, there are possibilities in the final days of the window to bring the players in that we need, and that is desperately a midfielder, possibly two of them. And when Maguire goes, probably a centre back as well into Debo, and then the left back stuff. Look, I guess again, Cucurella. My reaction to it initially is no, but you never know, could be the making of him. But again, I don't know how the finances would work in that one. So it all could be a go this week. And of course, if it is, we'll be covering it here on the channel. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. The full view is back tonight, 7 p.m. So be sure to join the panel then. And you never know, something else might happen throughout the remainder of the day. If it does indeed, we'll be live. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. And I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Have a good one. Peace.